Next up on the docket is God of War Ragnarok. We've been talking about it a lot on the channel because, honestly, we've been waiting a long time to get information about it. And we're finally getting these little nuggets of information from these interviews and from the PlayStation Showcase. We got to talk about it, right? I mean, come on. Look at this. Bam. It's our boys. But the main thing for today, this comes to us from Andy Robinson at VGC, is that it's confirmed from Cory Barlog, who is the director on God of War 2018, that this God of War Ragnarok will be the end of the Norse storyline for this God of War series. He says they've decided to conclude the Norse story with the next entry in the series because of the amount of time it takes to make these games, right? Which makes sense. He says that he doesn't want to take 15 years to talk about this one trilogy. And again, you know, it makes a lot of sense. It took 5 years for the first game, and he even says, and I quote, "I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm just going to throw out it's going to take close to a similar time for this game." Then if you think, wow, a third one is the same, we're talking a span of 15 years for a single story, and I feel like it's just too stretched out. Now, that's end quote. I got to say, I think he's right, but I just don't want it to feel rushed. Right? I don't want God of War Ragnarok to feel like, oh, it's going to take long to develop, so let's just shove it all in this one game. That kind of makes me a little nervous, but this is Sony Santa Monica we're talking about. They've proven to us that they can really bring good quality content. So we'll just put it, in their hands. But I forgot to tell you, where this comes from is an interview on a YouTube channel of Captain Cuba. I think is how you say his name. He specifically talks about God of War content, so they reached out to him, and he got a full interview with Cory, the director on your right there. He did 2018, and then the guy on your left is Eric Williams. He is directing God of War Ragnarok, and he had a really good interview. You should go check it out. Just put it in YouTube. It's bam right on the top. God of War Ragnarok interview. He does a good job. We get some good information. Another thing I wanted to call out is, quote from the interview, because most of what we were trying to do from the beginning was to tell something about Kratos and Atreus. That is the core of the story's engine, and it's really the relationship between those two characters and the complexity that irradiates around them ripples in a pond. Very interesting to think about what's going to happen in this next game. Now, if you've played 2018, you kind of know what I'm inferring to. I don't want to spoil anything, but some things happen at the end of the game where very much makes it interesting, right, to think about what Ragnarok means and what's actually going on in the world when we pick up this story and all the characters involved. We actually even see Tyr in the trailer. So, I don't know. Really interesting stuff. Am I upset that they're ending the Norse storyline? Yes, because I love the gods that we're talking about here, right? Thor, Loki, all these people, Odin is awesome and really cool. But I gotta say, it gets me very excited to hear they're talking about the end of this story, because that means what's next, right? Are we going to Egypt? We've been talking about that for the longest time. We even saw it in the game. It's not a spoiler. It's everywhere. We see a little Egyptian sign for the God of War in the game. So does that mean that's where we're headed next? Is that where the story's going? Is Kratos going to die? Is Atreus going to take over? Is he going to go? All these questions get, rise up when you think about where we're going to go after Norse, because we always thought it was going to be Greek for the longest or forever, and then bam, we end up in Norse mythology. So who knows where we go next, but this is the end of the Norse story. So hopefully this is a meaty game. It's not rushed. They take their time. I don't care how long it takes. I'll play that game for hours and hours, but I'm just excited to see where they go next, and hopefully they stick the landing with Ragnarok. Okay,